Hey guys, my name is Moon and welcome back for more Umineko When They Cry, episode 2. So, George, Goda, and Shannon are in the offensive right now, right? They're looking for a mirror, or a magic mirror, I guess, that Natsui had. So, we are in the chapel, and yeah, let's just start it. Let's see if we're gonna get some action today.
教中、お察しします。シャノンさん、鍵を頼みます。お亡くなりになられたとはいえ、奥様はレディーです。私には触れることができません。
Respect, okay, respect.
はい。
Shannon nodded sharply, her expression filled with a sense of duty. George, Goda, and Shannon had broken a suitable window and were inside the chapel. Since they really hadn't wanted to break one, they'd search for another way just in case. But in the end, after proving once again that there was nowhere they could slip in through, it only became more obvious that this chapel has a mysterious closed room. Inside the chapel, time had stopped ever since the last time they left it. Even George wasn't able to approach a gruesome Halloween party again. It was only natural. It reminded him again of the sadness of losing both his parents at once. And Goda thinking of the possibility that those corpses might have changed in some way now that half a day had passed. He didn't want to let George go near them. Shannon followed Goda's instructions and approached the party table. Normally, Shannon might have resented having another dirty job forced on her. I mean, not dirty job, like, you could see the respect from Goda there. He didn't want to touch, Natsui, right? So that's why he said, it's much better if Shannon would do it, right? But now she could truly understand Goda's mental state. Even though Goda had a prodigious skill, he had gotten dragged into trouble losing his job and ending up left in the streets before Natsui gave him a new life. Though it had been just a casual employment decision for Natsui, Goda must have thought it a turning point in his fate. Those around Goda could see that he felt a special kind of loyalty to Natsui. Okay. So he probably didn't want to lose that feeling even after her death. Yes. Now that half a day had passed, the bodies of Natsui and the rest had changed completely. Small bugs sniffing out the smell of death had started to gather. It really wasn't something you'd want to look at directly.
奥様、失礼いたします。
Because of her long experience as a servant, Shannon had an idea of which pocket Natsui kept the key to her room in. It would probably be this pocket. Her guess didn't fail her. Just by touching the outside of the pocket, she was immediately able to feel it.
ありました。
Okay, we got it. Let's go.
奥様の部屋の鍵です。
Shannon held the key up high, showing the others that it had been found. As George and Goda watched her, their eyes opened wide. That wasn't the expression Shannon was expecting, so it startled her. Oh! Beatrice. After all, Shannon hadn't noticed. George and Goda, watching from afar, noticed it at first. After all, when Shannon had held the key up high, a blizzard of gold leaf had seeped up from around the table. Hey, you gotta run now. Yeah, run through the room. There were countless gold butterflies. It was the first time George had seen them, so it might have looked like some kind of illusion. I think first time for Goda and George, right? Oh no, at least, for George, the butterflies. Goda saw the butterflies earlier with Kanon, right? But Goda already knew. He knew that those gold butterflies were far from beautiful and that they would bring about some kind of misfortune. And that gold swelled, trying to suck Shannon in.
Shannon-san! 走って!
Shannon also realized that the gold butterflies were trying to swallow her up. She ran steadily, her expression still shocked. As she did, the gold butterflies danced around her all at once. They grouped together. They tried to swallow her up.
シャノン！くそ、なんだこれは。これが君たちの言っていた黄金の蝶なのか。早く外へ。こいつらめ。くそくそ。
George and Goda rushed up to Shannon, driving off the cloud of butterflies. And while the butterflies were scattered, they ran towards the broken window. However, they needed a good footing to get out of the window, which was surrounded by shards of broken glass. When they entered, they had been enough time for that, but now there was none.
扉から出よう。足場を探してる時間なんかない。開かない。硬い。貸して。くそ、このオンボロが。ジョージ様、お早く。くそ、なめるな。
Goda took off his jacket, swinging it around and scattering the group of butterflies. But saying he was outnumbered would be a real understatement. It was doubtful that it even bought them a shorter time. Don't tell me Goda is gonna die now. He's gonna sacrifice himself so they can go to the room, right? George struggled with a broken handle. Age showed and it didn't turn well. I can't leave it to strength. It needs the right angle or there's some trick to it.
ジョージ様！くそー！この化け物どもが！
At the moment Goda saw it, he was seen by it. In other words, their eyes met. On top of the party table. No, with the stained glass behind it, floating, laughing was the figure of the witch. He saw the figure of the laughing witch in the center of the golden whirlwind, with the gold butterflies fluttering about at the ready.
Beatrice.
Does she actually show herself now? At least with them, I mean. It should have been Goda's first meeting with her. But he knew her at a glance. Just like the other servants had said, this was certainly the witch of the portrait herself. But it is the first time George and Goda seen her, right? Yes. Did she have that ring on her finger? I didn't notice that back then.
すでにわらわはこの屋敷のホストである。そなたらを素晴らしきディナーで歓待しなくてはならぬというもの。おあつらえ向きに3人ではないか。これは実に好都合。
うわー！あ、開いた。
Oh, they're open it. Okay.
ゴーダさん、早く。
Can you even run away from her though?
ベアトリーチェ様。
I mean, she has magic, right?
足を止めてもよいのか。ここがそなたらの墓場にふさわしいというならそれもよかろうぞ。かつての主の傍らにて死後も仕えたいというその心意気はたたえようぞ。
The golden whirlwind that wrapped around the witch burst. It was like an evil hand had literally spread its fingers and was trying to attack them. The cloud of butterflies attacked with a fluttering sound.
急ぐんだ。足を止めちゃいけない。
George's voice brought Shannon and Goda back to their senses. Standing here now would make them feel like frogs getting stared down by a snake. they had to resist. They had to fight this incarnation of the new, brutal, and frightening order in which Orokinjima had been enveloped. There was no time to take out the umbrellas. The three of them dashed out into the pouring rain. The three of them never realized because they didn't turn around, but the gold butterflies apparently couldn't handle the rain too well, and this hampered their ability to chase after the humans. Okay, so I guess they got a little break here. Now they can run to the mansion much easier. The three people ran from their golden pursuers and flew into the mansion.
愉快愉快。ポーでなくては面白くない。
They unlocked the door and dashed into the room. A bit of scent from Natsui's favorite gentle incense remained in there. However, there was no time to let that calm them down.
どこにあるんだ。宝物箱の中って言ったっけ。
話に聞いただけです。実際にどこにあるかまでは。
多分お化粧台かベッドの脇にあるんじゃないかと思います。
Shannon's womanly sensibilities led her to conclude that. But next to the bed, there was only an incense burner, a half-read novel, and glasses. However, the dresser was elegant and had many drawers, and it would be understandable if she'd kept some of her valuables there.
夏日おばさん、ごめん。
He began to violently open each one of the drawers. He had to hurry up. He couldn't actually hear footsteps, but he had the feeling that the witch was approaching. He had the feeling that her laugh was approaching. He emptied the drawers one by one and examined their contents. Every small box for makeup looked like a treasure box, and the amount of effort it would take to inspect all of them made him feel a little dizzy.
この箱かもしれません。鍵がかかってて開きません。
At a glance, it looked like slightly larger than a music box. When shaken, it rustled as though very small objects were inside. But it was locked and it didn't open. Okay.
普通鍵はすぐ近くに隠しておくものです。
I mean, if it's not that sturdy, how about just break it, right? Throw it into the wall, like, yeah, with a lot of force.
あるいは常に身につけている人もいるかも。
Well, now you gotta go back again.
わからない。わからない。
Just break it.
やむを得ない。壊そう。でも乱暴にはできないね。中の鏡を割ってしまうかもしれない。
Oh, I guess, yeah, George is right though. Yeah, the mirror might break inside.
こじ開ける道具はないかな。
I mean, he is correct there. Yeah, I am wrong. I could have broken the mirror if I was there.
くそ。
Goda looked all over the room, trying to see if there was some tool that they could use. And he noticed a door which had been left open ever since they'd entered. He approached the door, closed it, and then saw the abominable shadows of people approaching from beyond the darkness in the hall. Oh, here we go. The butterflies. No, it wasn't shadows of people, because they weren't human at all.
ジョージ様、急い。
Goda's voice trailed off. It was a shock of seeing processions of those not of this world. He was a servant, so he knew all the servants working for the Oshirimiya family, but he didn't know about these. However, they were definitely servants. And not servants working for Oshirimiya Kinzo or Oshirimiya Kraus. Oh, hell no. There are a lot of them. The goatmen are here. These new servants work for the new master of the mansion, the Golden Witch, Beatrice. Had goat heads and bright red boiled eyes of lava. Oh, they all got swords now. Kanon had problems with only one of them, right? And now we got 3 of them, and I guess much more. As the new master laughed loudly and trimly directed the 6 of the new servants, he saw them approach, piercing the darkness as they came. Of course, she was clad in gold butterflies that were her symbol. Gota hurriedly closed the door and locked it. However, just as he locked it, it returned to normal just as though a spring or something had knocked it back. So it was useless. It gave the illusion that some prankster beyond the door was unlocking it every time he locked it. So back then in episode 1, the reason that Natsuhi the reason why no one could get inside Natsuhi's door, right, is because she had the charm, right? What is it, the scorpion charm? But now we don't have that, right? So they can enter this. They couldn't have reached the other side of the door yet. So who was doing it and how? It almost felt like playing with a broken toy. They're trolling, yeah, the demons are trolling.
しまらない。閉めても開いてしまう。どうなってんだこりゃ。クソクソクソクソ。
鍵がわらわを拒むと思うか。その部屋の新しき主をその部屋の扉が拒むと思うのか。
It was like the witch could see Gota's frantic effort through the door. Even now, the footsteps continued to approach. And when not just her footsteps, but even their breath could be heard, Gota gave up on the lock and slammed into the door, locking it using his own large body. I think we've seen the last of Gota now. You saw the big swords that Gota had, right? If they just stab the door like that, yeah, Gota is done for.
ジョージ様、これはどうでしょう。
レターオープナーか。そっちの方がいいね。貸して。万年筆じゃうまくいかない。
George took it and once again dug into the crack under the lid of the treasure box. It looks like it's working.
早く早く。
The pressure from across the door grew even stronger. Gota screamed. This wasn't a war cry during a test of strength. He was terrified. I mean, who wouldn't be, right? He was simply terrified that nothing but a single wooden door was stopping him from touching something not of this world. But he was still lucky. He wasn't touching the things directly, because they were on the other side of the door. So if he were to touch them directly, Gota's cry would surely turn from something brave into a pathetic, piercing scream, and therefore one that was more real. Oh no, another one of these Beatrice's lackeys, right? Gota couldn't believe what was happening right before his eyes. Going through the door, an arm was slipping straight through the wood like it was water. GG. Yeah, he's gonna get killed by this. As though this was the most natural thing in the world, and it rubbed back of Gota's hand as he frantically tried to hold the door shut. It slid up his arm to his chest and then his chin. But now Gota's scream wasn't even audible anymore. He could hear a sweet whispering voice from across the door. It wasn't coming from the witch, but it sounded like a young woman. However, that didn't change the fact that it came from someone not of this world. Beelzebub? Is this the same one that we saw? No, we saw Asmodeus and Satan, right? Yeah, it's a different one again. But yeah, kind of similar faces, I guess, but the hairstyles are different.
見てるの相馬と教えてね。終わったら。ありがとう。もう終わってるのね。
Yeah, Gota cannot guard against that. He doesn't have any weapons or anything. That lewd arm burst. Then they heard the sound of something jumping around the room at an incredible speed. They didn't know what it was. Incredibly fast, small like steel or maybe a beetle. When it buried itself right in the center of Gota's chest and stopped, they realized for the first time that its true form was something like a snake with a strange design on it. Gota's large body shook, bent backwards, and fell over. As it did, the door opened softly, even though no one was pushing it, welcoming in the new master of this room. It looked almost as though the door itself had accepted her. Then the witch came in and the gold butterflies came in. The room was wrapped in a blizzard of gold leaf which fell and piled up, turning it more and more into a world of gold.
Shannon, ルーレットはそなたとジョージを選んだ。解放の日に感謝せよ。未練はあるまい？ないよな。惚れた男から婚約指輪をもらって夜も共にしないうちに殺されてしまっても未練なんかないよな。女の幸せを教えてもらいたかったんだろう。ああ、シャーノン、ダメダメ、垂れてるぜ。お前の口元から未練がだらだら垂れてんのが見えるぜ、シャーノン。
It was the sound of the lid to the treasure box breaking open. When George turned it over, accessories, charms, very small objects that Natsui had treasured when she was a girl fell out. Mixing with that was a pouch that stood out from the rest. He picked it up and was immediately sure this was it.
見つけた。これだ。
We found it. We got a seal Beatrice inside of this, right?
いいって及ばなかったの。死ね。
くそ。
All at once, the gold butterflies attacked George, who was hurriedly trying to remove the contents of the pouch. What is that? Scorpion guts. At the time, a bright red flash seemed to light up the room for an instant. That red flash seemed to cut a hole in the cloud of gold butterflies raging around the room, drawing a circle with Shannon at the center. Oh, is Shannon doing magic now? So the resulting scene looked truly divine. Almost as though a single streak of light had cut through the clouds in this world of gold. George was curled in a ball, trying to protect himself from the group of butterflies. Didn't have a clue what was going on. Wow. And then he noticed that Shannon was standing guard in front of him, shielding him. So I guess Shannon does not have offensive abilities like Cannon, right? Like the sword. So for her, it's mostly, I guess, like this. Only protection. But yeah, this will not last though. As she glared at the witch and the rest with a serious face she'd never shown him before.
忘れていた。そなたもまた金蔵の優れた家具だったな。それもカノンよりだいぶ熟成した。
カノン君をよくも殺したことじゃない。 よくも亡骸を消し去り、その名誉まで汚そうとしたな。
おやおや、シャーノ、それを怒ってるのか？カノンに会えなくて寂しいならわらわに頼めよ。いつだって会わせてやるというのに。
Or Kanon again. Dude, she's still defiling his body like this. When the witch snapped her fingers, one of the 6 goats' attendants glittered gold and changed into Kanon. It was definitely a sight to make one doubt their eyes. It was definitely Kanon's face, but the eyes are different. Yeah, however, in those eyes, the glint of Kanon's integrity was nowhere to be seen. They were the hazy eyes of furniture that only obeyed the orders of the witch. George couldn't understand the scene right before his eyes. And he finally understood why Goda and the rest had been unable to talk about what they'd seen in that servant room.
楽しいですか？
ああ、楽しいぞ。死が引き裂いた2人を再会させるのはいつだって楽しい。死で引き裂いて1度、合わせて2度、もう一度引き裂いて3度楽しめるのだからな。さあカノン、姉と遊んでやりなさい。もし痛めつけられたら思いっきり苦悶の表情を浮かべてやるといい。
From the imposter cannon's arm, a strangely shining curve that extended. He planned to tear Shannon apart with this. And with a single stroke, he would attack Shannon, who still hadn't prepared for her heart and...
許さない。一度ならず、二度までも死者を汚すなんて許せない。
ほざくな。弟に殺されろよ、シャーノン。きっといい夢が見られるぜ。
But she removed the shield. Okay. The imposter cannon certainly seemed to lunge at Shannon, drawing several purple curves. But when he flew at her, it was as though some kind of invisible wall had been placed in front of her. The wall repelled the imposter, leaving a bright red ripple on its surface. No, it didn't repel him, it smashed him. It knocked him back, turning him into golden dust into little bits, scattering him. That foolish furniture who had taken Kanon's form and even disgraced his honor after death broke into countless gold butterflies. And then those butterflies themselves broke into pieces, and those pieces were broken into pieces. Until they were no longer butterflies but a golden splash that faded away.
シャノン。
ジョージさんはそこから動かないでください。中心軸をずらしたくない。
これは驚いた。虫一匹殺せない面をしてこれだけの力を見せたか。なるほど、霊境がそなたに力を貸しているというのか。しかしその霊境の本当の力を引き出すには準備も時間も足りないな。そのどちらもわらわは与えはせぬ。
The spirit mirror George gripped had let out a divine glow, displaying a strength powerful enough to submit to the wicked forces. But that glow was no match for the witch's sinister nature.
これだから家具は怖い。 予期せずしてタンスの角にぶつける足の小指のような気持ちよ。これだから家具は怖い。家具が家具
私は家具じゃない。そしてあなたを今はとても哀れに思う。
何？ほう。1000年の魔女に100年も至らぬ家具が今何と言ったか。
あなたはとても哀れな人。愛し合う二人に未練がないわけがない。でもあなたの期待するような未練はかけらほどもない。
語るか、家具の分際で。ジョージと結ばれたくてわらわの靴を舐めた日々を忘れてわらわにそれを語るか。
愛に生き泥念を這うが人間。それを嘲笑い見下しているつもりであなたはそれにはるかに劣る。私は今こそあなたを哀れに思う。愛し合う二人にとって添い遂げることにどれほどの意味が。意味はある、きっとある。でもそれはあなたの言うこととは全然違う。もっと新鮮にして、あなたごとき邪悪が口にする資格もないほどの新鮮な意味がある。だから私にはすでに何の未練もない。ジョージさんと愛を誓い合った。その証として指輪を受け取った。それで永遠の誓いは完了した。あなたがどんな邪悪な魔法や悪意で私たちを災難だとしても永遠は汚さない。
Okay. I thought she was gonna be laughing there.
綺麗事を詩人のように語るな。愛は情欲なんだよ。少女漫画みたく綺麗事ばっかりで語れねえんだよ。
Love is lust, totally meaningless unless you're sleeping together. What?
男どもはお前の匂いに惹かれて群がるウジバエどもなんだよ。そんなこともその年でまだ理解できねえのかよ。お前は失望するぜ。その後ろのメガネ男のどす黒い欲望、一度でも覗いちまったら。
Yo, I wanna really see the background for this, for Beatrice, man. Why is she like this, right?
がっかり愕然唖然呆然、全然ダメだぜショーノー。
You'll despair. The very first time you witness the dark lust of the glasses man behind you, you'll be crushed, shocked, dumbfounded, stupefied, and it's all useless, Shannon. Okay, so with all the things been happening in this one, right? So I think Beatrice, she experienced something. That's why love is so different to her. Look at this. Where is it? Where is it that she said it? Okay. Lust. You should lust something earlier, right? But yeah, something like that. Love is lust, totally meaningless unless you're sleeping together. It's a very different term how she's describing it compared to George and Jessica, or obviously Jessica, Shannon right there, right? And see that you'll despair the first time you witness the dark lust of that glasses man behind you. You'll be crushed, shocked, and dumbfounded, stupefied, and it's all useless. Okay. I'll try to remember this. Hopefully I remember this whenever we see her background, right? Like her real history of Beatrice, right? Yeah.
Ah, もういいや。 いや、語るな家具が。この家具。
Okay.
家具。
What?
家具。家具。
Okay.
家具。
Okay.
家具。
Okay.
何様のつもりだよ、語りやがって。愛なんて結局はど汚ねえ汚物をどう綺麗に見せようかって欺瞞なんだよ。そいつに気づいて人は大人になるんだろう。死ねよクズ。家具スクラップ。お前を汚らわしいウジ虫に変えてやるよ。それでもそのメガネがお前を愛するか試してやるよ。そいつの愛のど汚ねえ現実ってやつを教えてやるよ。死ねえよガラクタが。てめえが愛を語るんじゃねえ。
It really triggered her. Something happened with her. Yeah, the real one, the real Beatrice, I guess, right? There is a history with something like this that happened with her. With her saying this, that yeah, this guy only had his eyes on your flesh. You know what I mean, right? Something like that happened with her. I just don't want to say it, but yes, you could interpret what she's saying here. The invisible column of light with Shannon at the center started to have bright red ripples drawn all over it at once. The wall did its best to withstand the unseeable malice that tried to corrode in on them from all directions.
なんだよそれは。抵抗してるつもりかよ。安っぽいんだよ。薄っぺらいんだよ。お前の綺麗事と同じなんだよ。見せかけだけの薄っぺら。見たくないものをベールで覆って隠してるだけなんだよ。まだわかんないのかよ。だから家具なんだよ。家具。ほらほらほらほらほら削られてるぜ。カリカリコリコリガリガリゴリゴリなんて薄くて情けないんだよ。お前のその薄っぺらな抵抗に比べたら、パルミチャーノレッチアーノの方がまだ削るのに苦労がいるぜ。
The golden windstorm that covered the room gradually began to shave the walls of the column that protected Shannon and George. The bright red ripples frantically drew a resisting pattern, but that just turned it into a red wall of despair that began to wrap the two of them.
庄司さん、ごめんなさい。やはり私には無理でした。
ありがとう。君は僕のために戦ってくれた。それだけで嬉しいよ。
Oh no, it's breaking. It's over. It's over. The round wall that had once protected them was assaulted and covered with a curve of bright red ripples as it seemed to scream. And it began to suck the two of them up instead. It broke.
Shojiさん、お願いが。
Shannon grasped George's hand behind her. So George hugged her shoulders just as strongly.
なんだい。
最後に愛してるって聞かせてください。
ああ。さよう。
It's over. What time is it? 9. Oh, we're back in the kitchen. Okay. Okay, so let us take a break here. But yeah, I guess I really need, or just I just realized, right, that I've not really looked into what Beatrice says that much. I mean, or maybe I just didn't notice, right? But yeah, when we got the scene earlier, right? Shannon and George showing, I guess, real love there. But Beatrice was like, that is not real love. There is no love unless it's with lust or something like that, right? Like George, he just wants you because of your flesh, because of your body, right? So, yeah, with all the magic stuff that we've been seeing, right? I guess you can get maybe small scopes, ideas. Not ideas. That's a wrong word, but into what Beatrice is. I can't wait to see her background, backstory, all of that. Because yeah, when we saw her, right, why was she thinking like that? You only think like that if something bad happened to you, right? Yeah, you have a history of that kind of stuff that happened to you, right? So that probably happened. Not probably. It for sure happened to Beatrice. That's why that's why she was saying that to George and Shannon, right? So we really need to look whenever she talks again, because yeah, it was different. She looked like she really got triggered there, right? Her voice was getting high. The way she talked was being a little, yeah, being much more different, right? Damn, I didn't notice that. Yeah, I need to really check whenever she's talking. Like they give you like, yeah, maybe hints of what maybe have happened to this Beatrice, right? But yeah, for sure this is gonna be what do you call this? Told to us when we reach maybe the answer arcs, but seeing it in the question arcs a little by little like that, yeah, I should really look into this. Whenever she talks like that, we'll see. We'll see, right? We'll see. But yeah, we lost 3 of them right now. Goda, we started with them. Goda, George, Shannon, they're all gone now, right? Goda protected them until the end, but yeah, he was no match, of course. He was just a human, right? He couldn't do anything. And then Shannon and George, it was inevitable. Even though they had the mirror, it didn't have. It was pretty useless. It was way too strong, right? But the way I look at this as what's happening to this episode with all the magic stuff, right? I mean, of course, like what wait, Kyrie or Ava said, right, in the beginnings of this episode, do not always believe what you see in Rokinjima Island, right? Because yeah, I guess that for every episode we're gonna be, yeah, at least starting now, we're gonna be seeing different kind of magics every single time, right? So you don't really have to believe that, yeah, like this is happening, right? Is this really happening? Do you think magic is happening like that? Or yeah, or just the way the story is told, right? I mean, you could tell different uh kinds of stories, right? But we gotta look into the bigger picture here on how this character is, how is this mysterious Beatrice is, right? Okay, I'm just talking a lot now because yeah, of what she said earlier, kind of clicked on me. Like, okay, why are you saying this, right? Who hurt you? What happened to you, right? What happened to you? But yeah, I guess who else is left? We got Genji, Butler, and Rosa and Maria. So we got 4 people left now, right? So let's see what happens. I guess we are very close already to the end, as yeah, 3 people died. I guess at Twilight it happened again. Where is it? I mean, they're not gonna really show them anymore. Like, oh, it's in the head, in the chest, in the knee. You would just assume for now, right? You just assume that all of this happened already, and then I guess the 9th Twilight is technically next, right? Yeah, technically next. So yeah, we are going to continue this and do more of Umineko When They Cry episode 2 in the next one. So I'll just see you then, guys. Bye bye.